Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Melissa Frey. Thank you for joining me here on this Tuesday evening as we talk about the impacts of a significant winter storm that's already beginning to push into South Central. This is going to impact us most of Wednesday and also heading into Thursday as well. So my goal here tonight is just to make sure that you are prepared, that you have the information that you need to stay safe, especially if you have any plans to do any traveling here over the next couple of days. We do have some pretty hazardous conditions on the way, and this is really our first big significant major winter storm. Yes, we did already have record snowfall on Sunday, but that was pretty much isolated to Anchorage and some surrounding areas. But this coming storm again is really going to impact the entire region of South Central, with even some more significant conditions that could create that hazardous travel situation that we want to make sure that everyone has information again to stay safe. So let me know where are you watching from there in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions. We are going to walk through what the storm is looking like, what we know, what we don't know, and the warnings that are in effect here across the area. So starting with those weather headlines, again, this is that major winter storm. The most significant impacts are going to be a combination of heavy snow and heavy rain. One of the big questions is which form of precipitation should you expect, and at what point should you expect that crossover? Also, we are looking at those strong winds here across South Central. Hello to you there, Dylan. Hello to Alma. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for Caitlin, Jamie. See, it looks like people are hopping in here across Anchorage and Girdwood. Yes, we definitely want to get you prepared for this storm. Again, pushing in. Really, we're already starting to see some of the impacts tonight. Now, the heaviest snow, the most significant winter accumulations that we're going to see are going to be at the pass level. Once you get above about 2,000 feet, more likely that we'll see snow lasting for a longer period of time. So we're looking at 1 to 2 feet. Now near Thompson Pass, you're looking at 2+ feet, combined with wind gusts to 45 miles per hour. So blizzard conditions are likely there. But even for Turnagain Pass, a foot plus is likely with this storm, combined with some potential for rain. We are going to again see those hazardous travel conditions. We're again talking blowing snow, heavy snow, ice, and then eventually the concern for flooding here across South Central, specifically in Anchorage. We have again over 6 inches of snow sitting on the ground right now. We're going to add to that throughout the day tomorrow, and then at some point we're also likely going to add some rain. Once temperatures warm above freezing and rain starts falling, it is going to be a sloppy mess here across town. We're going to see that potential for some ponding and some localized flooding in those low-lying areas. So that is definitely something that you also want to be prepared for once we get into Tuesday. So again, we are looking at moderate snowfall, anywhere from 2 inches to 2 feet. Yes, that is a huge range, but that is for South Central. So some areas like the western side of the Kenai Peninsula will only see a couple inches, but again, as I mentioned, those pass levels seeing up to 2 feet. So it really depends on where you are. That's also true when it comes to the wind. We're talking wind gusts of up to 20 miles per hour to as high as 80, and in some places even 85 miles per hour once you get down closer to the coast. So that's also important to know for your area. And then the rain, are we talking more rain or more snow? All of us are just going to see wet conditions. That doesn't matter where you are, but again, some areas will see more rain than snow. So all of that combined to just make for very difficult travel conditions. This is a long list of weather alerts in effect. We have winter storm watches, warnings, advisories, high wind warnings. We have blizzard warnings, flood watches, and wind advisories in effect. So again, this is to further break down the impacts by region, and I'm going to walk through each one of those weather alerts for you. Here is a look at our storm, and if you're a weather nerd, if you like the meteorology, the science of it, this is an impressive storm. It is well developed at this point. It has a lot of moisture and a lot of strength, and it's moving fast. You can see that all just kind of plowing right here into the southern portion of the state with that precipitation spreading really from Bristol Bay through South Central and all the way down into Southeast. And it's going to, again, stick with us for the next couple of days. Out of this storm, we're actually going to get a second area of low pressure tomorrow night that is going to help keep the storm going all the way into Thursday. So again, bottom line, wet and windy conditions across South Central, Southeast, even into portions of Southwest Alaska as this storm system pushes further to the north overnight tonight. Now, one thing that we've been talking a lot about over the past couple of days is the temperature, and it's not so much the temperature right at the ground that matters, but a little bit higher in the atmosphere. So imagine with me, if you will, you've got the clouds and you have snowflakes falling out of those clouds. If there is a thin layer of warm air that is above that freezing point that melts those snowflakes, snowflakes cannot turn back to snowflakes after they've melted, of course. So at that point, they're rain, their sleet, or their freezing rain once it gets down here to the surface. So we are going to be watching very closely for any warm air that could nudge in with this storm. And again, as I just showed you, that storm is coming here from the Aleutians, from the Pacific, where we have warm waters, warm air, and it's going to bring in that warmer air mass with it. Now, how far to the north and how far to the west that warm air actually moves is, of course, going to impact what type of precipitation we see, because again, if there's any layer of warm air, not necessarily here at the ground, but as you get a little bit higher into the atmosphere, if that pushes into those mid to upper 30s, which at some point I do expect, that'll melt those snowflakes instantly, and then we'll see rain once we get down here to the ground. Freezing rain, that happens when the ground is frozen and you have liquid water falling and then it sticks to a frozen ground and creates that icy situation that no one really likes. So what I have here is the temperature at 850 millibars. That's about a quarter way up into the atmosphere, and anything that is highlighted here in this blue color, that is telling you where the air is below freezing. So where that precipitation is falling, this shows you that the air is below freezing. And you can see at this point here tonight, that's pretty much the entire state of Alaska, especially here into South Central. But as I put this into motion, as that storm moves into South Central, look what happens to that cold air. It just erodes right away for a period Thursday late afternoon, Wednesday late afternoon, early evening into Thursday morning. So as that moves through, again, that's what could melt that snow to rain. It's a brief period, but any melting of snow on top of snow on the ground, again, is what is going to create that sloppy mess. It's also, of course, would limit how much snow we see. So does someone see 10 inches or 1 inch? It all depends on how much of that water is snow versus rain. Once we get into the weekend, we will see cooler air settling in across the area. Okay, let's look at the timing of this. Again, this area of low pressure pushing here up into South Central once we get into tomorrow mid-morning. Still pretty far offshore, but you can see most of that moisture really aimed for Prince William Sound. We're talking Whittier, Portage Valley, spreading north through the Chugach Mountains up into Thompson Pass, Cordova, and down into the northern regions of Southeast. Now here in Anchorage, into the valley, most of the Kenai Peninsula, I do expect a period of light snow in the morning, but mid-morning I expect a break, and you might go, wait a minute, Melissa's telling us about this major storm and it's 10 o'clock and I'm not seeing anything out my window. You might even get some sun breaks, but don't let that fool you, because again, the second surge with that second area of low pressure, that's what pushes in the second half of the day. You can see it there. See those yellows and oranges indicating that heavier precipitation. So once we get into the afternoon, that's when we get that surge of moisture. I do expect this to be snow for most of us inland initially, but again, once we move into the afternoon, the late evening, that's when we start to see some of that rain mixing in. You can already see that green showing up on the map there in the valley, and we'll start to see that potential here in Anchorage as well. The green is rain, the pink is a snow rain mix, the melted snow, if you will, and then the purples and the whites, that is all snow. So here at 1:30 in the morning, Thursday morning, this particular model is showing snow in the higher elevations of Anchorage, Eagle River, the valley, but down into the lower elevations, seeing that rain. Right now, looks like that snow level will climb to at least about 2,000 feet. Now, once we move into mid-morning Thursday, some colder air wraps back around the storm and those temperatures start to drop. This also when we start to dry out once we get into Thursday night. So again, we are talking a mixed bag here across South Central. Let's take a closer look at Anchorage specifically. Again, seeing chances for that light snow moving in overnight tonight. Might see some pockets of warm air mixing it as you head up closer to Eagle River into Palmer, but also drier there. And again, not a whole lot going on here before 10 a.m. But once we move into the second half of the day, that's when that next surge of moisture is expected to arrive. We are looking at snow initially, but again, once we move through the evening, see that green showing up on the map? That's that snow mixing to rain. Again, it really is going to depend on where you are. Here's a particular example of a scenario Thursday morning where you can see North Anchorage, West Anchorage, Wasilla is seeing rain. We have a rain-snow mix as you head through Midtown, East Side, out into Eagle River and Palmer. And then as you head into South Anchorage, the Anchorage hillside, and out East Palmer into the Matanuska Valley, it's all snow. So again, we're going to see that fluctuation back and forth. South Anchorage up into the upper hillside, better chances of seeing more snow than rain, but again, it will be that mixed bag. And again, the most significant impacts likely late Wednesday into Thursday morning. That's when I expect it to be trickiest with, again, that extra surge of moisture moving through. Looking at the amount of water moving into South Central, again, it's not much Wednesday morning, but look at as we move into Wednesday night and Thursday morning, those rainfall rates are really ramping up. Again, a lot of this will likely fall as snow, but we'll also see a lot of rain, especially in places like Seward, Whittier, Valdez, Cordova. You'll see mostly rain in those areas. Okay, let's talk about the specific areas. Any of you tuning in here from Southeast Alaska, I haven't given you a lot of time, but this storm will impact you. So for your area, biggest impacts for winds are going to be for Prince of Wales Island and down near Ketchikan. We're looking at wind gusts to 65 miles per hour there. Heavy rain for the entire region. You'll also see wind gusts to 50 miles per hour in Sitka, up to 45 miles per hour in Juneau. So wet and windy is the situation in Southeast, but plenty warm that you don't have to worry about anything frozen. No frozen precipitation there. Different story in South Central. Let's look at those advisories. We have a winter weather advisory in effect for Turnagain Pass. We're looking at 8 to 14 inches of snow, again with the heaviest snowfall totals in the afternoon. If you have to travel tomorrow over Turnagain Pass, I would recommend doing it earlier in the day because it will get worse through the day, and eventually we'll likely see some rain mixing in there late in the day heading into early Thursday, then back to snow Thursday afternoon. We also have a winter weather advisory in effect for the western side of the Kenai Peninsula, especially closer to Cook Inlet. We're talking from Anchor Point up through Nikiski. We're not looking as much snow there, but we will see some breezy winds and blowing snow, poor visibility, and just general slick road conditions will be a concern tomorrow and Thursday. Okay, across Prince William Sound, we do have some significant impacts from here all the way up into the Copper River Basin. If you have any plans to travel through Thompson Pass tomorrow, you do need to be prepared for very extreme conditions, up to 2 feet of snow with this storm, and those wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour. Again, that will be ramping up through the day and continuing into Thursday. We do have a winter storm warning in effect for the Copper River Basin for heavy snow, especially out near McCarthy, but even seeing heavy snow into the Matanuska Valley and further north along the Richardson Highway. We will see eventually a transition to some freezing rain and ice and just rain potential there later in the day. And then we also have a high wind watch, and that's actually been upgraded now to a warning in Cordova. You're looking at winds out of the east sustained of 40 to 55 miles per hour, but some gusts as high as 85 miles per hour. Again, that is in Cordova, hurricane strength wind gusts that you will see during the day tomorrow. Up into the valley, we do have a winter storm watch in effect for Wasilla and Palmer. Again, for that heavy wintering mix ramping up through the afternoon combined with strong winds, those gusts between 25 and 50 miles per hour, again, especially near Wasilla and Palmer. So you already have snow on the ground. Even just the wind alone, even if it were dry, would be significant because that's going to cause blowing snow and poor visibility. But then again, you add to that worsening road conditions through the day. It will likely get pretty messy and pretty slick as we move into the afternoon and evening with that poor visibility. That will be true all the way down the Glen Highway into Anchorage, where we also have that same winter storm watch. Again, for that heavy wintering mix, we're talking light snow in the morning, heavy snow into the afternoon, transitioning to rain, snow rain mix into the afternoon, evening. We will see wind gusts here 15 to 35 miles per hour. Those will ramp up overnight tonight, highest for the Anchorage hillside and for Turnagain Arms. So again, not extreme wind, but even a little wind when you have precipitation falling does really impact that visibility. We also have a flood watch in effect here for Anchorage, and that's an interesting thing to have here in the middle of a winter storm. And again, it's really because of those temperatures warming. You can see 37 in Anchorage, 39 in Girdwood. And as I mentioned earlier, we had that record snowfall on Sunday. We have about 8 inches of snow sitting on the ground right now. So if any of that starts to melt, we start to get some rain into that. That's when we're going to start to see the concerns for some flooding. Now, if the temperatures can stay cold enough, again, not just at the ground, but all the way to the cloud level, and we see snow for a longer period of time, then we don't have to worry about that flooding. And so that would be the best case scenario with this storm, is that it stays cold. We just get good regular snowfall through the afternoon into the evening, and there's that potential, again, especially for east and south Anchorage. So we'll see how that switches over. We do get another model run here in about 30 minutes, and then we'll get model updates about every 4 hours. So we'll be checking those here through the night into tomorrow morning. We will definitely refine any details to the forecast. If it looks like that storm's going to move a little bit further to the east and we get some colder air in place and we don't get the warm air, that would mean more of a snow event and less of a rain event, which of course, generally speaking, would be a good thing to not have to deal with the ice and the slushy conditions here across the region. So again, either way, it is going to be wet here in Anchorage with snow and rain tomorrow, ramping up in the second half of the day into Wednesday evening, continuing overnight into early Thursday. So again, that's when we will see the most significant impacts locally. Those showers are going to continue often on Thursday, while temperatures right now look to continue to warm as long as the storm again stays on the path that it's on right now. We'll see a chance for a few lingering showers Friday, but then moving into the weekend, we get a nice little break between storms. Temperatures get back down closer to what we would expect this time of year, mid-20s during the day, even down into the teens overnight. Sunday's actually looking pretty nice with some sunshine in the mix before we have another storm system coming in early next week. That one looks to be regular snow at this point, not bringing in the warmer air like we are currently seeing here. So again, we will see those improving conditions across the region. Some folks asking about school. I have 2 kids, of course. They want to know, will school be canceled over the next couple of days? Here's the deal. Obviously, I can't tell you if school is going to be canceled or not. I do expect the more significant impacts to be Wednesday afternoon, evening into Thursday. So we'll see what the school districts do with that. Obviously, Kenai Peninsula, you're seeing the impacts first overnight tonight and too early tomorrow morning. So we'll see what happens with road conditions there, and then it'll push to the north again, and we'll see those more significant impacts Wednesday night into Thursday for the rest of Anchorage, the Valley, and up into the Copper River Basin. I can tell you that the second that information is released happens well before sunrise this time of year. Everything's before sunrise, but generally happens about 5:30 in the morning. We will have that information right out to you. Alaska's news source is on air starting at 5 a.m., but we will send that information out again as soon as school districts release it. Again, both Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to be watching those conditions there very closely. I want to check in here on some of your comments. Thank you to all of you who are tuning in here with me this evening. Nice to see where you are watching from. Zach is asking, when is this expected to start? He missed everything of value. That's okay. If you're just joining us, again, this storm is just now starting to show up on the Kenai Peninsula. If you're in Anchorage, we'll see likely light snow here through the night into early tomorrow morning. We'll see a break before a second surge of moisture moves in the afternoon and evening heading into Thursday. And it looks like, Caitlin, you're helping answer that question. So thank you for sharing that, sharing the love, helping everyone out. Susie is saying it's already windy here in Wasilla. Yeah, we're just starting to see those winds picking up here across South Central. Those will ramp up through the night as the storm gets closer. Hearing from Teresa that the winds have picked up a bit around Lake Otis area, but tomorrow afternoon, yeah, as far as the wind, that's really tonight into tomorrow morning. We'll see breezy winds through the day, but the winds hit as the front moves in. So we will see that early in the day. If you're driving down Turnagain Pass tomorrow, yeah, early in the day is better rather than later because it will get worse, heavier precipitation and more of a mixed bag into the afternoon and into the evening. Scrolling through all of this, seeing if there's any other questions on here that I have missed. Really the bottom line is, I mean, we're Alaskans, right? We expect extreme winter conditions here. This is really the first big widespread winter storm that we've seen in South Central, especially into those higher elevations like Turnagain Pass, Kenai Peninsula into Prince William Sound. This is also the first storm that will bring significant snowfall to the mountains. It is going to be quite dangerous in those higher elevations when it comes to avalanche conditions tomorrow afternoon and Thursday. The Chugach National Avalanche Information Center told me this morning that they are expecting to see natural avalanches be triggered throughout the storm because of that combination of heavy snow and high winds. So again, really important that you're safe in the backcountry. Not a good idea probably to go into the backcountry with these kind of conditions. This first snowpack is likely going to be pretty unstable here locally. So if you do have to travel across those passes, again, we're talking Turnagain Pass or Thompson Pass, that's where you're going to see, again, big snow, big wind. Really important that you're safe in those areas. If you're in the lower elevations like the Sterling Highway, you're going to see icy conditions. You're going to see poor visibility. That'll also be true down through Turnagain Arm. Visibility is going to be a concern. We'll likely see some icy road conditions as we're just going to be adding precipitation off and on throughout the day. That'll also be the case for the Glen Highway, the Parks Highway, and the Richardson Highway. All of those highway systems will see that combination of ice and precipitation and then the wind picking up as well. So you know how to keep it safe on those highways. Don't want to hear of any major crashes or injuries tomorrow due to the weather. So keep it safe. So I think you got it all. That is the bottom line. A little plug here for the Alaska's Weather Source app. If you do not have it, it is a free download. I use it myself. You can get it in the App Store, Android and Apple, and you can download it. You'll get updates from me. You'll get updates from Aaron in the morning. You'll get updates from Jackie in the late evening. And also, if you have a weather alert for your area, you have a high wind warning or a winter storm warning, that will tell you for your specific location. You can even set it to follow you if you want it to show where you are currently, or you can set it to a particular city or town. And it will show you those conditions. So that is super helpful. It can show you your current temperature. You can see the radar information on that, and a lot of other bonus fun features like earthquake tracking and that kind of thing. So a really useful app, especially in a situation like this. Again, we update it here at Alaska's Weather Source. We keep those numbers current, and we send out information to you that we think would be helpful, opposed to, again, a generic app that may have come with your phone. I would recommend, if you use a weather app, definitely get the Alaska's Weather Source app. We'll be on air again here at 10 p.m. tonight on Channel 2 and Channel 5, and then back again from 5 to 7 tomorrow morning with the latest road conditions, any school closures, business closures that you may need to know about, again, both Wednesday and Thursday. And then we'll be on air and here throughout the day. So if you have questions, keep them coming. Let us know. You can find us here on social media and through the app, and we just want everyone to stay safe. First winter storm. It's fun to see the snow coming in. It's fun to see winter arriving, but want to make sure everyone's safe. All right. Have a good night.